Let's roll up some fun, quick magic items. This video is brought to you by my lovely Patreon supporters. Every month on Patreon, I release a new tabletop role-playing game adventure zine. Tons of fun, useful stuff for your games mailed out every month to your mailbox or your inbox. And this month's adventure is called Flick Silverpin's Guide to Unscrupulous Emporiums. It's a collection of 3 magic item shops full of inventory that has been acquired in less than desirable ways. There's a total of 30 unique, weird, cursed magic items included in this zine. And there's a bunch of random tables in the back of the zine that will help you roll up your own magic items. So I thought in this video it'd be fun to roll a few dice and show you how easy and quick it is to make up your own magic items. So let's start off by rolling some d12s on these inspiration tables. I think I'd like to create a weapon, a piece of armor, and some sort of equipment for the players to get into trouble with. So I'm rolling on those tables. And then there's also tables for physical and immaterial attributes, different effects and conditions of the items. All of these are just meant to inspire and help you come up with these fun concepts for the magic items. So to start off, all I'm doing here is rolling and making a list of the results. And once I have the list, then I can start combining these attributes and effects and try and make something fun and interesting for the players to use. So now I'm starting to write down my ideas more in terms of game mechanics and how the magic item will actually be used while playing. At this stage, I'm not worrying too much about how I'm describing these effects. You know, it doesn't have to be how you would explain it to the players at this stage. I'm just outlining some ideas and getting a handle on what this magic item is going to do. Now, since these items are going to be pretty powerful, I want to draw up some magic item cards so I can actually hand my players the magic item, and then they have a nice little reference card that they can keep and look at whenever they need to while we're playing at the table. So I've cut out a few 2.5 by 3.5 inch cards on smooth Bristol board. I've sketched in the items very lightly in pencil, which doesn't really show up on the camera super well, but it's enough of a reference for me to then go over with my favorite art tools, Posca markers. So with Posca markers, I start out by laying down the flat color first, and then I'll go and add the lines in later. But honestly, you can make these cards however you want. The tools don't really matter. I promise if you hand your players a magic item that you created and drew on a little card that they get to keep, they will absolutely love it. It doesn't matter how nice the drawing is, it's the idea and then having the actual object that's so special. Okay, so let's talk about these actual items. First up is the halting horned club. So on the random tables, I rolled horn, ice, time, and cursed. So horn made me think of like a unicorn horn. Like that's how the item gets its magical power. And then combining ice and time made me think of freezing time. And then cursed made me think that using this weapon made from a unicorn horn is not cool. So there should be some sort of big drawback, some sort of consequences for taking this unicorn's magic away from them. So taking all those ideas, putting them together, this club allows the wielder to freeze time for a round or a turn, and then they have to spend the following turn frozen themselves when everybody else gets to act normally. So I think it's always important to add a little bit of story into these magic items, thinking beyond just the type of weapon and its effect. You know, how is it magical? Where does it come from? Who created it or who wielded it before? That's the fun stuff that adds a lot of flavor and makes these magic items feel special. Okay, next up is Zimzerzam's hut. So I rolled a helmet and then slime, hunger, and incapacitate. So the player will wear this item as a helmet, but really this is the home of an ooze named Zimzerzam. So when they put on the helmet, Zim will completely cover the player's character in their ooze, making them take half damage in battle. Now that sounds great, but just like how this isn't really a helmet, Zim isn't actually helping the player character. They're actually slowly digesting them. So each round they might be protected by a lot of incoming damage from other places, but they're also taking a bunch of acid damage from the ooze that lives inside their helmet. Okay, so while I'm drawing here, I want to talk a little bit more about this month's Patreon zine, about the unscrupulous emporiums. So the first shop is Laster, Burrow, Bum, and Pingo, a halfling and a troll. They go down into dungeons after adventurers, and if the adventurers didn't make it through the dungeon, then this halfling and his troll buddy scoop up all of their items, book it out of the dungeon, and go resell them to other adventurers who then go into the dungeon, hopefully don't make it, and they can rinse and repeat over and over again. The second shop belongs to Lord Jacques Mord. He is a vampire that has been run out of his castle. He has a bunch of cool magic items because he is a vampire lord, but he's also been stripped of his powers. So he's looking to rebuild a little bit of wealth. Maybe the players can pay by providing Lord Jacques a meal of blood. But yeah, he's got a bunch of cool magic items that a wealthy vampire lord might use on a regular basis. And then finally is Bruise Beastie Bits. This is a mysterious cloaked creature who has a collection of animal parts that have a lot of unique and interesting effects that the players can buy, but Brew only comes around during a full moon. So yeah, hopefully all that sounds interesting. If you'd like to check it out, link to the Patreon is down in the description. Okay, the final item is the Somber Spectacle. So I wrote down glasses, memory, poison, and gem. So that kind of got me thinking about, you know, the rose-colored glasses saying, and I thought maybe it could be like ruby-colored glasses. But then I also thought this whole like memory plus poison thing was kind of an interesting combination of words. So these glasses allow you to look through another person's eyes, but the side effect is that it poisons their memory of the person invading their mind and looking through their eyes. So it basically makes the person wearing the goggles the enemy of the person whose vision they're looking through. So I think this really gets at the way I like to play role-playing games. I like to give my players really powerful magic items that are either like a single-use kind of thing, so like a powerful potion or a scroll, or a powerful item that has consequences. So if they choose to use these powerful magic items, it's super fun to see what sort of fallout happens because of these negative side effects. So like I said before, these random tables are in the back of this month's Patreon zine, but I'm also going to make up the nice fully laid out, cleaned up version of these tables available for free. Check out the first link down in the description. So yeah, I'm having a ton of fun rolling up these random items. I've made a whole zine full of them. And the cool thing about using the random tables, one is you get to roll a bunch of dice. Two is it takes no time at all to be kind of flooded with inspiration and ideas. It forces you to combine these words into ways that you wouldn't normally think. And you end up being really surprised with the crazy magic items that you come up with. So if you use these random tables to create your own magic items, please leave them down in the comments. I would love to see what you come up with. All right, hope you check out the Patreon. I put a lot of work into these zines, trying to make them extra special and filled with illustrations and useful stuff. And supporting the Patreon really helps me to continue making these videos. All right, let me know what you think of these 3 magic items. I super appreciate you watching and checking out this video, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.